Good afternoon. Give me one moment, please. Just refresh my laptop and make sure that we're live. Hopefully we have volume today. Let me see here. Did we go live? We're live. Okay. I fixed my camera view a little bit, and hopefully it's a little bit better. It's a little closer, and hopefully folks can hear me. I'm Carol Buckalew with Inky Stampers. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in the US, and I have a fun fold for you. Another Christmas card, imagine that. But we've got a lot of really great holiday sets, and I've been wanting to share them with you. Online exclusives. I placed my order yesterday morning, and I will have those hopefully by tomorrow. I don't know if I can share them with you tomorrow, but maybe Friday. But yeah, so this batch of online exclusives includes a Valentine's set, and we'll be focusing on Valentine's cards here shortly. But for now, it's holiday cards. And I have a fun fold, like I mentioned, and I am calling this a reverse center pop out. So I've made center pop out cards before, right? And this is the back of my current card. And so a center pop out, this section, you know, right here, obviously pops out, and hence its name. But this one is reversed. And so the center or the front of the card actually recedes in. And this will fit into an A2 size envelope. If you fold these little flaps back and you try to put this card in your envelope, the card is slightly bigger than the envelope. But if you fold these in, kind of like a gatefold, this will nicely fit inside of an envelope. And I did test it. It fits nicely. And my inspiration for this card, hey Faith, thanks so much for joining. My inspiration for this card came from Art of My Heart. She has a YouTube channel, and she does some really great cards. The dimensions for this card are hers. And she, on her video, she did not do the reverse piece like I did, but she suggested that it could be done. And I thought, oh, well, that would be fun. And so that's what I'm doing here today. So this is definitely a display card. And I love cards, fun folds that show off all the pretty paper. So let's get started. I'm going to just set my card aside and get some pieces out. And we'll start with the card base. Hello, Rosie. Thanks for joining. We're going to start with the card base and get my scoring board out here. And this is an 8.5 by 5.5 piece of cardstock. And thank you, Rosie. And we are going to score this at 2 inches. I sound a little hoarse today. I'm not sure why. Fall, I guess. 2 inches and 3 1/8. And 6.5. And then, whoops, I missed one. 5 3/8. Sorry about that. 5 3/8. Make sure I got that right. All right. So we have scored at 2 inches, 3 1/8, 5 3/8, and 6.5. And that is it for the scoring. And I really, I really did like the idea of making this a reverse center pop out. I just thought it was kind of fun. All right, the outer score lines on each end are going to be mountain folds. Let me grab, hey Amy, thanks so much for joining. You're finally catching me live. I know how that goes. You get busy doing something, and yeah, before you know it, you're like, oh darn, I missed somebody's video. I've done that. I've done it. I think we all do. So the two outer score lines are mountain folds, and so you see the little peak there. And then the two inner score lines are valley folds. And I'm just making sure that my edges are lined up here before I give these score lines a burnish. just so we make sure everything is all flush and even. Alrighty, so I did not mat, if you look at my card here, I did not mat any of these panels. Because I've got designer series paper on both sides, hey Sharon, thanks for joining, this would make this card way too heavy. So it's just designer series paper panels on each side, and again, a nice display card. All right, I am going to set the card base aside here for a moment, and we're going to do a little bit of stamping. And when I say little, I do mean little. I don't have a lot of stamping here on this card. The sentiment and the sentiment label and the inside panel, that's it. I did forget to mention, though, what products I'm using. That would be helpful to tell you. I am using the Sentimental Wishes bundle. So stamp set and dies. And the dies in this set cut out images. Not all of them, but... And there's only a couple of dies in the set. So it's not a super expensive bundle. But it cuts out a little stocking, a ribbon. This will cut out these stamped candles. And this cuts out a little leaf sprig. And this will cut out another little kind of floral berry leaf sprig. So the stocking and the ribbon, these two dies actually cut out images from the designer series paper. So that's fun. Alrighty. And then I use the Stylish Shapes dies. I've used the third from the largest round die here. And I use the Sentimental Christmas 12 by 12 designer series paper, which is just beautiful. This paper, I'm in love with this paper. It takes me back to my childhood. It just, the images just remind me of, you know, the 1960s. And I don't know if that's what Stampin' Up! Had in mind, but that's what it takes me back to. So I'm using some shaded spruce ink here. My sentiment for the card front is have a very Merry Christmas. And as I mentioned, I used the third from largest circle die. And this die fits perfectly in between. I'm trying to keep my card away from that open ink pad. That would be a disaster. But that circle fits perfectly in between here. It looks like I'm a little off screen. I'm not sure why. So that worked out perfectly. And I'm going to stamp Have a Very Merry Christmas in Pretty Peacock ink. I do like to store my dies in the case if the die set isn't oversized in a neck, and if it is, I just store them on magnetic cards with sleeves. But I have found that it helps to conserve space, you know, for storage. Because yeah, I kind of am running out of space a little bit. All right, that is for the front of the card. We'll give that a second to dry. And then our sentiment for the back of the card is Let's Celebrate the Season. And the font on this is equally whimsical. You like this paper too, Amy. Yeah, I know. It's fantastic. But the font is just kind of whimsical as well. I just love it. All right, let's see if we, you know, I am going to test stamp because I don't think I checked it. So I'm going to stamp off on my grid paper, and it's perfectly in alignment there. I'm using my grid to make sure that my paper or that my stamp is lined up, and it is. So we are good to go. And go ahead and give that a stamp here. And that is for the inside or the back of the panel. And let me grab my Tuxedo Black Memento ink. I have a little image here of some candles with sprigs of holly and some pine and a few little ornaments. And I am going to stamp that in Memento Black. Just making sure it inked up. I'm really good for jamming my stamps down too hard, and then you get kind of a shadow of ink where you don't want it. You know, it tends to be darker. All right, that is good for me. We're going to color that image, and we'll go ahead and do that now. Time for a bigger house. If I got a bigger house, I would just fill it up again. So no, I'm not doing it. I don't want a bigger house. Whoops, I don't need this yet. Let me put this away. Let me grab some Stampin' Blends. I stamped this candle image on my envelope, but you'll be happy to know that I already colored it because this little candle image is tiny, and you would hate to see me color two of these. So I have a dark lemon lolly here, and I'm going to go ahead and just, there's 4 little Christmas balls at the base of this, of these candles. And this, by the way, is my inside or back panel is on basic beige. It's a lovely color, and so the colors are not super bright. They are on the envelope, and I'll show you that. But on the basic beige, they're a little more muted. This is light cherry cobbler, and I'm going to color 2 of... Now, I will tell you, I noticed something really interesting. What I noticed was, and I don't notice this on my white cardstock as much as I did the basic beige. Coloring with the Stampin' Blends, this ink wants to spread out on the basic beige. It didn't on the envelope, and it doesn't seem to want to do that excessively on white cardstock. But I just thought that was kind of interesting. I'm like, wow. So I really am being very careful, and I've already gone outside the line. But you know what? It'll be fine because this image is so small. It's very hard to see. And then I've got light shaded spruce. I'm going to color the last little Christmas ball here in light shaded spruce. Rosie, I just saw you typed a long comment. What'd you say, girl? You thought the Inky crew was looking for a large retirement home for... Oh, yeah. Wait, we're looking for an island. Yeah, we're looking for an island, and we can just craft all day and have somebody bring us beverages, and wouldn't that be nice? Alrighty, so I'm switching over to Old Olive, and I'm going to use the light Old Olive to color in all of the holly. And this will not take long. And then we're going to put the card together. And it's a really easy, simple card. Probably the hardest thing is getting your sentiment stamped straight and getting this little tiny candle image colored. But yeah, and I'm going to extend that over there. Alrighty, and then we've got some other kind of leaf sitting there in the background. I am not bothering to shade these images. This is so tiny that it would really be lost. So I'm not going to bother trying to shade anything. And I just went outside the line again. Goodness, what is wrong with me here today? So I'm going to grab my color lifter, and I'm going to correct that little error I just made. You may not be able to see it, but I can. I went outside of the line. You'd think I'd be better at it now, but I'm not. And then I'm going to grab the dark shade of Old Olive and just color in this little leaf. It's different. It's not holly. I don't know what kind of leaf it is, but we'll just color that with the dark shade. I am going to color the candle flames with dark pumpkin pie. Your dock workers wouldn't go on. I know. All the dock workers on the East Coast are on strike. The East Coast in Texas. And I hear lines are already getting long. And I don't know about the grocery stores, but stores like Costco and BJ's. So hopefully that strike does not last too terribly long. That would be a bad thing. And then what do I have left here? I want to color my candles a little bit. So I have, the crafters, the card makers retirement home. Yeah, looking for an island. I think Mary's in charge of looking for the island. I'm not sure. I'm going to take a blender pen, and I am going to just dip the end of this blender pen right on the very edge of my ink pad. And I'm going to just kind of, I'm not going to color these solid, these candles, but I am going to give them a bit of color, kind of up the sides and around the bases. I love using a blender pen for little things like this. We do not have basic beige Stampin' blends. So this is a great way to incorporate this color in your stamped images. All right, and I'm sure that's very difficult for you to see, but trust me, it's showing up. And don't forget to clean your blender pen off. I just, you know, take mine over a clean piece of paper until it runs clear, and then I know it's ready for the next time that I'd like to use it. And I can close my ink, and we are done with stamping. And so now we can assemble. Yay. So we will work on the card from here, and I've got all of my paper strips, and we're just going to start gluing up paper strips. So this card, all of the measurements for these panels are going to be on my blog tomorrow. And this card, by the way, is for a sketch challenge, or not a sketch challenge, a fun fold challenge, theme challenge for tomorrow's Happy Inkin' Thursday blog hop. But I'm going to go ahead and grab my glue as soon as I find where I put it. There it is. And we are going to do a lot of gluing up here. And that's pretty much how easy this card is. I like liquid glue, but you certainly can use Stampin' Seal, you know, to glue up your panels. And these panels fit really great. With the measurements that I provide, they fit perfectly on these little sections. This is why I like liquid glue. If you just saw that big old slide, and I got glue down the side, but that's all right. Just wipe it off. I've got a rubber eraser to take care of any little glue smears. And we're going to move on to the next panel. Now, when you cut your panels, this paper, the pine tree paper that I just, of that first panel I just put down, is directional. So when you're cutting your panels for your card, make sure that you're double checking before you cut into that pretty paper. Otherwise, you're going to be upset. But it is directional. And boy, my glue is really grabbing today. It is really grabbing. And then for the center panel, I chose a Christmas tree pattern, which I think is so pretty. And again, directional. So when you're cutting your paper, make sure that you have the right side facing up. There is the month of October is just absolutely insane at Stampin' Up! This month. We have a ton of things going on. There currently is a kits collection sale going on for the month of October with up to 30% off of kits. We have a wonderful selection of kits. So if you haven't checked it out, be sure to do. Boy, I am having trouble. I think that panel might have been a little long, but it's okay. It's going to work. Yeah, so up to 30% off of kits in our kits collection. The clearance rack has been updated, and there's still some items out there to grab with up to 60% in savings. Not everything is 60% off. Some things are. And what else do we have? Paper Pumpkin is having a sale up until October 10th. And you would use the promo code HOLIDAY40 when you sign up for Paper Pumpkin. And when you use that promo code, you'll get 40% off of the Paper Pumpkin that will be mailed out in October. So that's a good deal. And then World Card Making Day is this weekend. Wow, it's scheduled for October 5th. That is a free online event that Stampin' Up! Offers. It's a lot of fun. You can craft online with a whole bunch of people. and that will take place on October 5th. Registration is through October 4th. So if you'd like to participate in that free event, make sure you sign up by October 4th. So you only have a couple days left to sign up. Alrighty, I'm going to go ahead and just continue gluing up here on my back panel. Yeah, I'm getting there, Amy. I got a whole list. So, and the starter kit special was the last thing on my list. Thank you, Amy. So during the month of October, you can join Stampin' Up by purchasing your starter kit. And in the month of October, you'll spend $99 for your starter kit, but you will receive $155 in product just for $99. And then as soon as you sign up, future orders, you'll get 20+% off. It's 20% when you first join, and then as you advance, you can earn up to 25% off of future orders. We have a fabulous team, and I really hope you might consider joining during the month of October. Get a bunch of goodies for $155, or get $155 worth of goodies for only $99. That's a good deal. Starter kits ship for free. So there's that, because we all know that shipping is crazy ridiculous. Okay, I'm at the center here. So this is the back of my card. I'm going to go ahead and get that panel, and I've just got 3 more left, guys. And then we'll be done gluing, and we can do a little bit of decorating. So when I said that October is like a crazy month, it really is. And you know what else I meant to mention? So if your pine trees are facing upright here, make sure they're facing upright on the back side of your panel. When I first made this card, I'm like, oh, did I do that right? And I did, and thank God I did, because I wasn't going to get that panel off. I would have been starting over. But yeah, you just want to make sure that all your papers are facing the same direction. I'm just kind of taking care of a couple little paper crumbs hanging out here. There we go. And 2 more to go. So I don't ever recollect so many things going on at Stampin' Up! During 1 month. It's crazy how much stuff is going on right now. So, take advantage of that. Take advantage of the sales on the kits and on the clearance rack stuff, and, joining and getting your starter kit supplies in. It's all good. All right. And by the way, all those details are out on my blog at inkybstampers.com. So you can check all of that information out on my blog. You'll find it there. And I post stuff more than just one day. So it's out there for a few days, or if not longer. Alrighty. Okay, that is the back of the card done. So let's decorate the center of our card here. I am going to maybe here, let me turn my carousel. Grab my Stampin' seal, and I want to place a little bit of ribbon under my sentiment here. And my sentiment's going to be about 1 inch down from the top of the panel. So I want my Stampin' seal right about there. And I'm just going to put a couple little rows of that down, short little rows. And then I'm going to put some shaded spruce, satin and sheer ribbon down. And I'm not going to use a lot of this. I'm going to cut it longer than I need it. I can always trim the ends when I'm done here, but I'm going to kind of hold my sentiment up here and figure out where I want that ribbon. And I want it right about there. And I'm going to just stick it down to that Stampin' seal that I applied. And then I'm going to, this ribbon is not going to stick out the bottom end of my sentiment label. So I'm going to go ahead and just chop off those ribbon ends. And then the sentiment will sit right here. I'm going to go ahead and get some Stampin' Dimensionals on the back of my sentiment. And I've got my Stampin' dimensionals cut in half. I like the way they fit into small spaces. Sometimes I use whole ones, but usually I'm using half dimensionals. And we'll get the covers off here and get our sentiment label on. Yes, good point, Faith. When you do join Stampin' Up, you don't have to start a business. You can just keep that discount all to yourself, you know, to buy your crafting supplies. But you definitely don't need to start a business. You can if you'd like to. And that's also another good point. Our team, we actually have team business meetings. So if you do want to run a business, you have an outlet to, you know, you have a place to ask questions once a month. But actually, team leaders are available all the time for any questions. So you don't have to wait until the team business meeting, but you can if you want to. But yeah, very supportive team. I couldn't ask for a better team. And Amy is on here with us, and Amy is my upline, and so is Mary Deathridge, and both of those gals are just fabulous. So this is one of the images that was cut out from the designer series paper, the little stocking, and I think this is my favorite image in the whole in the whole pack of paper. But I'm going to hang our little stocking off here. So I don't want to put dimensionals across the very tip top there, but I do want to get them down here below. And we're going to attach this to the project using a combination of Stampin' dimensionals and liquid glue. So just get a few little dimensionals there, make sure that it's still going to fit. It is. So we can go ahead and take our dimensional covers off. God, I feel like I've been talking an awful lot. I guess I have been. Yes, we do have the best team leaders, Rosie. We most definitely do. It's really a fun group. We have Facebook groups where we can share, you know, where demonstrators can share their stuff and ask questions and whatnot. And we have events, and yeah, it's just fun. It's fun. But best thing I ever did. All right, now I mentioned that I wanted to attach this with a combination of dimensionals and liquid glue. So I'm going to go ahead and just put a tiny little bit of glue there across the top where that's going to make contact. And I kind of want to center that. And we're going to put it right about there and push it down. And then I also cut this tiny little ribbon from the paper using the dies as well. And that's really tiny. And I'm just going to drop a small drop of glue right there in the center of that bow. And that little ribbon is going to go right there on the end of our stocking. I just thought that kind of added a nice little touch. Alrighty, we are getting close to the end. Grab my envelope here. I'm going to put a few Pretty Peacock sequins on my card front. These are the adhesive back sequins trio, and Pretty Peacock and Shaded Spruce go really well together, really well. So I'm going to put a few of these onto my project. I'm going to put one right up here on my sentiment label, and then we'll grab a couple of small ones. Whoops, it got away from me. Come back here. And we'll put one down here by our little stocking, and then maybe one right up here just above. Do I want it there? No, I'm going to put it right here. So I've got two around the stocking. Alrighty, get this junk out of the way. It's not junk, but it's in my way. So I'm calling it junk. Get those little dimensional covers. And then all we've got left is the envelope. Hey, if you guys could please keep the folks, you know, the storm, the people impacted by Hurricane Helene in your prayers. I have been watching news coming out of the Appalachians, and their situation is really, it's improving, but it's still, there are many people trapped. Roads have been completely taken out, and folks don't have any way to get off those mountains. And there's lots of people working very hard. Private citizens are offering up their helicopters and planes and trucks, semi-trucks to, you know, rescue people and to take supplies in and fuel and all kinds of stuff. But it's pretty dire. I just made a contribution for, you know, for us yesterday because I just felt compelled to do something to help because, wow, it's bad. I've got family that lives in Western Virginia in the mountains, and we've not been able to get a hold of them, but I don't think that they received the rain that North Carolina, Western North Carolina, and Tennessee and South Carolina and Georgia and, you know, Florida. They didn't receive the same amount of rain, so thankfully, but we're going to continue to try to get a hold of them. But yeah, it's pretty bad. You know, the death count keeps going up, which is extremely sad, and I just feel for those families. But yeah, so if you would keep them in your prayers. I saw a satellite, or a not a satellite, but a spacecraft photo of Earth over the United States, and you could see exactly where the path of the storm was because there were no lights. The photo was taken at night, and there were no lights. It was just dark from Florida up into the Appalachians, and just really, really sad. I feel for those folks. Alrighty, so this is my card. So this is what I was mentioning. The colors really are very bright on the white, and you can see that it's a little bit muted on the basic beige, but not so much so that it would bother me. And you know what I forgot to do? I forgot to do something. Hold on, I forgot to do something. Yep, I did. I'm going to take my Lemon Lolly Stampin' Blend, and I am going to draw little light glue circles around my candles because our candles are glowing, or they should be. So I'm just kind of drawing a little circle and then filling it in. I'm trying not to hit that orange because the yellow will make the orange blend out. I don't want to do that. So I'm just literally drawing around it. There we go. Now we're done. Now we're done. Listen, I want to thank you so much for joining me today. Y'all have a wonderful day. Thank you very much, Amy. Appreciate it. Thank you, Rosie. Have a good rest of the day, and I'll see you next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern. Take care. Bye-bye.